1972, a year of good old American civil unrest. Protests against social inequality and the Vietnam War raged across the country. An epicenter of this revolution was the UW-Madison campus, but without the internet, how did all these people know what to do or where to go? Flyers, posters, protest materials all needed printing, and so StudentPrint was born.
What is StudentPrint? StudentPrint is a printing shop on campus in the SAC that's driven by us students that work here.
StudentPrint is a student-driven business here on campus, and it's a pretty great place to work.
We provide not just printing, but also graphic design for anyone in the Madison area.
We do business cards, brochures, booklets,
Resumes, classwork, posters, buttons, t-shirts, we can do it all.
This place sounds awesome, but how did we get here? How did all of this come to be?
So I can say that there were actually two foundings for StudentPrint. The first was in 1972.
I think it was originally created by UW staff.
SP started on one of the upper floors of the Memorial Union.
At that time, the equipment was very different than it is now and really, really heavy. And so that wasn't safe, so they moved to the basement of the Union. It was very tight space, really not a good work environment.
We had these exhaust fans that provided very little in terms of air movement. It was hot all the time, even winter.
The ceilings were very low. There were lots of levels. There was no place to move or grow.
It was always very loud in there, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that our music or just...
I was going to say, was it the music or was it?
And so when the Student Activity Center was proposed, the very clever managers at StudentPrint at the time got in on the ground floor. It's so much more accessible for students here. It's much more visible. There's a bell. The bell is part of the deal.
StudentPrint switched to being student-run in the late 90s. There were a few professional staff members that were on payroll, and StudentPrint didn't generate enough revenue to be able to pay for the professional staff.
There was still a very strong need for the work that StudentPrint was doing. And so in the fall of '98, Connie Wilson and Allison Rice, two really visionary, wonderful women, put their heads together and helped make StudentPrint reborn, as it were, as a student-run business.
The student-run aspect of StudentPrint is what makes it so unique. We are the decision makers. We are the ones influencing the direction of StudentPrint and deciding the strategic vision and strategic goals. And to have that be controlled and owned by the students is really paramount to, I think, what StudentPrint does and ultimately why I value StudentPrint so much now.
We are giving the students that study at Madison an opportunity to utilize what they're learning in the classroom and apply it to real life. So the amount of growth that happens from the time a student starts at StudentPrint to when they graduate is just a phenomenal difference in professional development.
I don't think there's any experience quite like StudentPrint. I've learned how to do everything. We all have a voice in the business decision making. It allows you to kind of explore what you're most interested in. If you're extremely interested in opening a small business, then it's a wonderful place to work and learn about it.
I remember when I worked there describing it kind of almost bragging that it was it was a student org, but it was run as a business and a real legitimate business. So eventually I started my own business not long after I graduated. So I think it was an incredibly unique way to get real hands-on experience.
It felt like we were family, and I was more than happy to stay a few hours late just to make sure that all the operations were running well, that all budgeting was good, and I did. Really, all of us were all in on just making sure that we can have a successful business and keep it running for years after we left.
It sort of feels like a student org, except we're being compensated for our time, which makes it a very cool student org to be part of. But other than like the compensation, it really does feel like everyone involved and preoccupied about developing skills that will take you places. Really more about feeling proud of something that you can then use in whatever career you pursue.
It was like such a fun job. We didn't even feel like we had a boss. Like, I know Amy was there and she was like overseeing things, but we made our own schedule. We did like whatever the hell we wanted. We just blasted music. It was like it didn't feel like a job to me. And that's why I loved it. It was great.
What makes StudentPrint really unique is the fun environment we have here while working. Our music that we play during shifts can range from Green Day to Frank Sinatra to Lord Pretty Flacco.
I mean, when you're back here binding or making buttons or doing anything except folding, which is way too loud, you visit with one another.
The most I remember are my coworkers. So I guess you would say my friends. The atmosphere, it felt like it was very family-based. You had coworkers or friends that would be there to listen to you, provide you advice, feedback, while also keeping a working environment. So it kind of set up what I was looking for future employment.
It's definitely the people that make it. Like this group of people on the phone right now, we might never have run in the same circles or ever met, but like we were all there and it was great. And we worked better as a team because of that.
If you ever find yourself in the StudentPrint shop, you might notice a few ways that we honor those who have printed before us.
Each of our printers has a hybrid name of 2 different people.
Like, I feel like once you start naming the printers and calling them by their name, it seems like they have sort of personalities.
I think it's just a way to kind of remember an era of StudentPrint. Even though you don't remember who these people are, if you're just coming in new, there's always stories associated with the ones that are named.
It means a lot to get a printer named after you. It means that we had a really positive impact on StudentPrint, on the students that were there and on the students that worked there after us.
I know when the printer was named Ari, I felt really thought of in a time when being thought of was really impactful. My life at that time was changing so rapidly. I was 21. I was still up at 2 a.m., but for a very different reason. So that was really hard. I still had a full class load. I was still working at StudentPrint. Suddenly I got this baby. To have the StudentPrint staff name the new color printer Ari, it really meant a lot to me.
Okay, so the wall of shame.
The wall of shame. So I have to look at the wall of shame.
Oh, the wall of shame. I love the wall of shame.
I almost forgot about that, but how could I forget? It's like
I'm on the wall of shame. I'm pretty sure there's a very close photocopied face up there.
There is always a factor of human error, so the wall of shame is a great way to save a little scrapbook of instances where we have made some pretty big errors or just some funny errors.
sometimes a really unique print product will come in, and I think because it's so unique, we'll save ourselves a copy.
As you can see, all the walls have a lot of stuff on them, so it's not like the only thing that's on the wall. It's just shame, but it's just just a way to look back and remember fun times.
We don't need to tell you how catastrophic the COVID-19 pandemic was, but hit especially hard were small businesses. Hit even more especially hard, a small business dependent on a thriving campus, mass foot traffic, and large event promotion. After applying for a grant, getting the grant, and having said grant get taken away from us, all hope was lost for Madison's favorite print shop.
It wasn't looking good. The managers were thinking that all the options that we had were gone, and I think it was mid-March we decided to close our doors as of March 27th, 2021. We tried to explore a few other options, and about a week later, the Dean of Students and Joanna, the director from ASM, had reached out and said, hey, we were talking to Mark Guthier at the union, and it sounds like they might be interested in taking on StudentPrint. There was a huge sigh of relief when the Wisconsin Union and Mark Guthier and their leadership team decided that there was great synergy between the Wisconsin Union and StudentPrint, and they would gladly take us on.
The relationship of the union and StudentPrint really makes a lot of sense. They are there to support current students and alumni. StudentPrint exists to support students. There's a common long-term goal there.
And just like that, we've come full circle. StudentPrint is back in the union, only this time not in the building, in spirit. So how's the shop doing now?
I'd say we're still in that recovery stage from COVID, which really dug us in a real deep hole. We're doing a lot better now. We're actually smashing projections for our budget this year, which is fantastic.
I'd say StudentPrint is doing pretty great. We've been having a lot more business and people coming into StudentPrint, but I'd like to see us get more engaged with other student organizations and departments on campus.
I am definitely grateful that I got to be a part of this business. You get used to all the excitement and you get used to hearing the same kind of core tenets of what it's like to be working at StudentPrint while you're there, but it does really resonate after you graduate. I think you get to understand how special that opportunity is.
I think it's an awesome place to work. I think that it's going to grow a lot into the future. I think I've already seen new products coming out, and what's funny is that when I was there, we talked a lot about doing stuff like that, but we never got to that point. But that's just what happens like with every generation that comes through. Like maybe an idea started a couple of years ago and that knowledge is saved and then it just continues being built on. So I think that's really special.
I just had such a wonderful experience at StudentPrint working there, and it was something that it'll be the best job that I've ever had, easily.